and you know it's the difference. Heavenly blessed with the melanin, baby, you know that we winning. No time for the long talk, got 120 on the clock. Wednesday 8 through 10, all the bad vibes better stop. Cause you gotta come with that energy. Casual convos, baby, come down and just sit with me. Lil' Coco be spitting that remedy. Casual convos, baby, come down and just sit with me. You better take this shit serious. She dropping knowledge on head and it's free for the play. Tap it right now if you curious. We got the ham radio going lit every age. We go from people to family to pilots. Stay with me if you got something to say. You know it's important if we go acknowledge. Speak on the business and get out the way. What you gonna say about my mama? She winning, you rockhead.
Hey, what's up, yo? Happy Wu-Tang Wednesday, everyone. We are the Casual Convo Show, where we have conversations and topics that affect the community's personal and business relationships. We always have the casual convo, so you don't have to have the tough convo. Before we get the show started, I want you all to check out handradio.org/shop. Get yourself a Hand Radio hoodie. They got shirts, we got hats, we got everything. Check it out, handradio.org/shop. We got a good show going on today. First of all, let me introduce myself. Idris, a.k.a. Bosco from the Bronx, and my lovely co-host, Baltimore's best, Baltimore's baddest. First of all, let me tell you, Coco's in the building. What's up, Coco?
Hey, y'all. What's up?
I give you that big intro. That's all you got to say is, hey, what's up?
Payback from last week now. Like, hey, y'all. Welcome. So, I guess I'm gonna introduce the guests that we have tonight. So we have Rob Thomas. He's going to introduce and tell a little bit about himself in a few minutes. We also have David Greenson, and then we also have, I'm gonna just say MJ Slaughter. I'm not gonna go by the name because that's what I, you know. Welcome, guys. I'm the only female tonight, so any ladies or so y'all already know how this gonna go. But before we get into that, I guess let's just get into the mental health check-in for today. I got not a little spill, but I'm gonna say overall my mental health is good. However, I think it's important to say sometimes life can throw some things, and I've had some days. But I worked on successfully, and I'm proud to say even through that, my mental health has been healthy. So I'm good for that.
It's been a rough week. A lot of stuff went on. Stuff I don't want to say on the air because I don't want pity. But I'm still here. I'm still standing, and I'm ready to do this. All right, David, how you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's been a week for me too. A lot going on. A lot of feelings swirling for me. But I feel like I'm staying pretty present to it. Not disconnecting, not losing touch with myself. So that feels like a mental health victory, when you're riding the waves a little bit. So I'm feeling good. I'm really glad to be here. Feel very honored to be here.
Awesome.
Mr. Rob.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like you, Bosco, man. I keep a lot of it close to the chest, but a lot of healing has went on with me this week where, kind of a little bit of forgiving some people that I definitely feel like have ultimately done me wrong to stay focused on the top priority, which is the work. And it's just been amazing. I feel extremely supported, massive amount of community members, massive amount of people. So, even when I fall down, others help me get up. So thankful.
Word.
Okay. Thank you. So before we start, there are two things. So we are missing one. Tori Harris. You coming back next time. We're gonna say it, but we're gonna definitely shout you out. And the guy's gonna represent for you, ma'am.
Oh yeah.
So shout out to you. Also, I know a couple of weeks ago, Lisa, one of our loyal supporters, she has some family things going on. And I just want to say, continue to pray for her family, continue to keep her uplifted. And Lisa, do not trip about being in that comment section. We still love you. We got you. We see you when you come back.
Always.
So just kind of keep her in prayer. Tori White. I'm sorry.
I like you, Tori. I think that Tori Harris plays football or something like that.
I said Tori Harris?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you gotta get my people's name right.
Yeah,
Oh
like
no,
maybe
you know
somebody
what I did?
like maybe
No,
somebody she knows that I don't know.
no, it was something from today. I played too much.
Shout out
That was
Tori.
something from earlier today. Shout out to
I
Tori,
hope you
but
get better, y'all, for real.
you gotta come back. I don't know where I get that from. I'm so sorry. I told you I jack up names. I started early. So let's just get into the show because we have a lot. So let's just tell the audience about yourself. So we're gonna start with Rob, then we're gonna go to David, then MJ, you up, and then we'll go to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is that my cue to go ahead and start speaking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on mute.
Okay. My name's Rob Thomas, born and raised in Asheville, North Carolina. I've done a whole lot of activism in Asheville and other states around reparations. I'm also a previously justice involved individual, whereas I spent 11 years incarcerated, 5 years for armed robbery with dangerous weapons, 6 years for trafficking, and a whole host of other things that was ran concurrent with trafficking. Um, but I'm here to show that people like me are extremely intelligent, and we things happen when given the opportunity. And yeah, my primary focus for the moment and is the reparations movement, and that is what I put all my energy and heart into.
Shout out Rob for being real with that, man. Big ups. Mr.
All right, I
David.
guess I'm next. David Greenson. I live in Asheville, North Carolina. Work with Rob. I am not an Asheville native. I'm a unintentional Asheville gentrifier. But somebody who, upon recognizing that, has been looking to like how to make things right. And so, like Rob, I'm very focused on the reparations movement. We have a process here that has a lot of potential. We think to be a blueprint for how local governments can do reparations. So we've been working on that for a while. And I'm also involved with Rob and with some other amazing folks in a new project called the People's Place, AVL, peoplesplaceavl.com. We are trying to set up a physical space that will serve as a business incubator and affordable soul food venue for performance, the nation's first museum that will be focused on the phenomenon so-called urban renewal, which is actually urban removal. Doesn't get enough attention because it's one of the most destructive forms of racism in our nation's history, but most people don't know much about it. So we want to shine a light on that. So, and Asheville was one of the primary places where it happened. It's the biggest urban renewal site in the Southeast. So we think it's a great place to put it. So that's me for now. Thank you all for letting me be here. You
time out, David. You about to get some heat from people.
Oh shit!
Keeping
really?
it real, for keeping it real like that. I like that though. Somebody about to come after you.
Okay. All right.
Well, nah. I'm feeling that though, because I like that was on point, man.
We used
MJ.
Yeah. Hey, well, thanks for having me on. My name is Marvin Slaughter, but friends and family call me MJ. And since I'm amongst friends and family, we're going to roll with MJ tonight.
MJ.
I'm a reparations researcher, but I also have the pleasure of being the chairman of the Illinois African Descent Citizens Reparations Commission, the second national commission in the U.S. after California. I got into this movement about 5 or 6 years ago, and I went to the University of Illinois at Chicago, studied political science and economics, then went to the University of Chicago and studied public policy. So this is my space, and I'm dedicated towards making sure that our people get the recompense that we deserve.
Word.
Awesome. Okay, so I guess the first question that I have is, how did you guys become like an advocate for the communities, like you for Illinois, you for where you from? Also, can you guys kind of elaborate? I know you're in Illinois, and I know Rob you're in Asheville, right? So if you can kind of like tell a little bit about those particular communities and how you got involved in your advocacy.
Are you want me to start out?
Oh yeah, bro.
I want to go first. Get in where you fit in.
I guess I just started speaking, so I guess that is me. All right, so how I got into the work, 2019 November, started working with the Racial Justice Coalition. COVID hit, and that kind of changed up organizing a little bit, where we started organizing virtually. And then on my birthday, George Floyd was, pretty much murdered by police, and that caused everybody to go on the streets, and everybody had a lot of disposable time. A lot of Black community members were not necessarily going downtown to protest, but our white body allies were showing up downtown. And so me, Libby Kyles, and Michael Hayes came together and called a pretty much this really big Black meeting. And we were able to discuss, I was able to present that we should actually use this moment in time to protest and strategically create demands. And reparations was one of those demands. We divided up into groups. There was a whole lot of Black community members and Black participation, and it was just amazing how every like the social cohesion that existed then, which doesn't really exist now, was just beautiful and amazing. And so that's how we were able to start off and create the momentum that was then utilized to actually create the reparations resolution and get it implemented. Worked with Keith Young behind the scenes as he was city councilman. He was the champion. He was the one who was keeping an eye on his fellow council members, like, all right, it's almost the time to push that button on them emails and phone calls. Dr. Dwight Mullen, community researcher and the builder and creator of State of Black Asheville, which is a compilation of all types of disparities, he drafted the rough draft for us, gave it to, presented it to us. We was like, okay, this looks good. Keith presented that rough draft to city council and the city council check-in on a Thursday, like, as this is the solution, you know what I'm saying? And they all jumped on it because people in the streets, people destroying stuff. They're like, what we gonna do? And so, we then, and we just hit the button on the emails where everybody was demanding reparations for Black people through our listserv. And it was just like the perfect storm. It was unanimously signed. And then we did the same thing, the county commission, and got them to sign it. All except for one of them, I think, signed off on the commission side. And that's pretty much how I got into the work as a previously justice involved individual. Then the co-chairs Carmen Ramos Kennedy and Gary Leonard, who were my supervisors and amazing. They let me really explore my advocacy, and they allowed me to be me and to focus on what I thought was important to me and my Blackness. And I really appreciated that from them. I no longer work with the RJC. My new organization is ouravl.org. So yeah, please hit me up there. Please show support there. And that's my story.
Hey, Rob, is Keith still around? I hadn't seen him in.
Yes, he's actually. I invited him to this podcast. But he's got a lot going on. Me and him also. He's got this real big documentary with me and him in it. And yeah, he's doing some amazing stuff. He showed me a 15-minute clip of it about 5 days ago, and I'm excited to see that drop because it tells the whole story. It tells the BS that was behind the scenes with the city councilman. And it's deep. I love it. I'm waiting on it to drop.
I ain't seen Keith in a while. I was wondering if he was still in the area because I hadn't seen him in months, man.
He is. He was working with a government accountability project for a while.
Okay.
After RJC.
That's what's up.
I guess it falls to me now.
Let's go with it.
I guess. Let's see. Where do I even begin? When I was younger, I had the opportunity to do some political work, and I worked for state senate. Kind of got my feet wet with politics, and just really looking for solutions for the Black American community. When I got to college, we had a governor here in Illinois that wasn't very popular, did some things that put us in some fiscal binds. And one of those fiscal binds that he ended up putting us in was cutting a lot of support to higher education. So a lot of my friends and people that I was cool with ended up losing the ability to afford to stay in state and go. They end up going to places like Indiana or Iowa. So I got involved in grassroots advocacy around the issue of affordability for higher ed. And that really kind of catapulted me into the research space, trying to figure out what exactly is it that we can do to make sure that the Black American community can kind of excel and progress. After a lot of research and looking at things like, higher ed and how people always say that it's the silver bullet, we realized that it ain't the silver bullet. And we realized that Black Americans who go on to get a degree are actually worth less than white Americans with a GED. Unfortunate reality. That led me to the reparation space. And I have been kind of active in the research and advocacy space and reparations since then. It kind of led me to doing research with Dr. William Darity an economist from Duke who is published in the reparations space, and led me to, you know, being asked by some community members and community organizations here in Illinois and in Chicago to apply to the Illinois Reparations Commission, and ultimately led to me being elected as the chairman. So to give a little bit of background on the commission, the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus embarked on an ambitious plan in 2021 to dismantle systemic racism in the state of Illinois, sparked by the entire George Floyd and momentum. The caucus introduced legislation to reform 4 key pillars in Illinois, focused on criminal justice, on education, workforce development, and economic access, equity, and opportunity, as well as healthcare and human services. So we have kind of a very large charge, and we're really just trying to be intentional about this potential only chance at the bite of the apple.
Word.
All right. Well, I guess that leaves me. What am I doing in the reparations conversation, right? I've been involved in politics and organizing for a long time. You know, ever since I was a teenager, which is a long time. You know, Rob will say it was hundreds of years ago, but that's not quite that long.
Hey, Rob,
But,
watch your mouth, man.
He was organizing with Abraham Lincoln. I'm telling you.
Hey, I was back there too, man. They just didn't see me, man. You know?
I shouldn't have encouraged him. But I was involved in, you know, a lot of like anti-war organizing when I was younger. I grew up in the 80s, you know, when it looked like we were about to, you know, blow ourselves up with nuclear weapons and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I've gotten involved in other things, you know, but mostly on sort of the national level. And I think what started to shift for me, you know, certainly the rise of Black Lives Matter, you know, Trayvon, there were situations that really were very, you know, powerful for a lot of people. And I started doing a lot of reading, you know, the new Jim Crow. Some of these things just really sort of opened me up, I think, to the extent, you know, I grew up, I think, like a lot of white people, certainly in my era, with this idea that like